Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby Fan Forum. Back at it again. Only the three of us. Well, we're expecting a fourth, so Jake might just like spawn in here at any given moment. But boys, we're talking Champions Cup round two. Aiden, welcome back. What are you saying, my man?
Yeah, it's good to be back. Oh man, I'm knackered, but I'm excited to be talking about more rugby. We've got so much on. It's brilliant to get home from work every day and just think about the fixtures ahead or on the days. Get to watch them. I'm
Yeah,
I'm enjoying European rugby as a Southern Hemisphere fan. I'm getting involved. I'm loving it. There's some good rugby, some weird rugby, and some bad rugby, but it's all brilliant to watch.
yeah. Tiernan, welcome back.
Mm,
What are you
yeah.
saying?
Oh, it's so good to have European rugby back. It's been too long without it. 6 months ago since the Champions Cup final, and it's been missed. 12 games over the weekend. 12 games to look forward to next weekend. It's really some of the best matches you're going to see in the season, and it didn't disappoint last weekend. Some upsets, some expected games, but yeah, I'm going to Leinster versus Claremont now myself this weekend. Look forward to it.
Yeah, fair enough. Tiernan, you weren't on for to give your review. What was the
Yeah,
teams that kind of just stood out for you in round one?
uh, it's been a while now. Hold on, I need to get the results up.
To,
Big
to lose
rugby
probably
brain.
to lose
Okay,
to
okay, yeah. So yeah, let's scroll through it now. Let's have a look. Toulon beating the Stormers, actually, that was probably the upset of the weekend. Because I did that's it's a known thing that you really don't just go down to South Africa and get a win. It takes a lot to do that and win by 10 points in the Stormers home game. It's crazy stuff. No,
yeah.
I know you just have your entire squad injured. But
Basically the whole
basically
entire team.
your all your internationals are gone.
Let's not get
Some other
casual started on this. We
No,
had
no,
about
no, no.
10 minutes
I've
on
calmed
Monday.
I've calmed down now. I've had
have you
I've
calmed
had a
down?
couple of weeks for it to settle in. Right. Last weekend I went on another rant, but I've decided I'm a changed man now. Expect nothing.
Mm.
Just expect nothing. Right. Anyway, let's stop beating around the bush. We've got round two. We're starting off Friday night. Sale versus Racing 92. I don't know, we spoke about it, right? Sale weren't that bad even against Glasgow. Glasgow were just clinical. They were brilliant. Racing, I mean, can you really judge their performance against who was it? Who did they even play against?
Harlequins.
They played against
Harlequins.
Quins. Yeah.
Harlequins, yeah.
Like, can you really judge that game on anything when it comes to that torrential rain, crazy winds and stuff? It's tough to really gauge where
Mm.
where a team is. Uh, what do you expect from this one?
Um, Looking at it and looking at the team a bit more, I didn't realize some of the names.
Stop.
And
People, remember to join our Superbru. The link will be in
yes,
the description, okay? We've got about how many people have we got in? Like 25
yeah, I
No,
think
got about 30.
already.
Yeah.
Yes, join in for
Going
your
on.
predictions because people want to banter us about our rugby knowledge. We will banter you as well. Get in the comments. Get in the Superbru. There you go. I don't continue.
yeah. After looking at the team a little bit more, I was surprised by some of the names in wrestling that I just didn't know about because, as I said, this is sort of my first introduction to European rugby and definitely my first introduction to like players in the top 14. But obviously they've got Ligarek at 9, who is sensational to me. I think
Mm.
he's awesome. And probably one of my favorite players in the world, Joshua Tuisova, is playing in the midfield at Racing, and he is a human wrecking ball. And he was amazing against the Quins.
Mm.
Obviously, that game was tough to watch. The pitch was atrocious. Um, and I know we talked about Sale. They weren't bad, but they never really got a foothold in the match, even when they were scoring points. And I just see this Racing side as a side that can close it out from you, just sort of beat you to death through the midfield, big collisions. And I can't remember what I predicted on the Superbru, but it's on there. I'm picking Racing to win. I think I said by 12.
Oh, really?
Really?
I've actually gone the other way, right? I'm gonna back Sale to get it done. Purely because I know as well that they're quite tough to beat at the AJ Bell. I think that they'll take some confidence from that performance. I can only judge Racing on what I've seen over the past couple of seasons as well. Like they just feel like they underperform a bit. I know they are a great team. They've got some massive, massive names there as well. But I do reckon Sale gets it over the line against them. I don't know,
Hmm.
but it could be a scrappy. So, same kind of vibe as Bath La Rochelle. 4 point swing either way. I'm going with what did I say? I'm just opening up
I've
my.
just checked my Superbru.
I haven't even done mine yet, so I'm making them up on the spot. Like
I've just said Russ. I've realized I've said Russing by 18.
Wow.
AC. Whoa.
Oh wow. I was not
Yeah.
expecting. I went Sale by 6.
I'm
Mm.
I'm going.
take it with a grain of
I'm
salt.
going
My
Sale by
first
6.
European thing, but I had a good round one on Superbru. I did the best
Yeah.
out of us lot anyways. So you
Yeah.
know,
Are you gonna? Have you
see what
locked
that
it
is.
in? Have you locked in your prediction?
No, I haven't, but I
Okay, so
can.
you can still change it. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what the teams are like, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Dylan?
going to go a bit closer for this game because it's one of those pool four clashes. I think every single game in that pool is going to be a one-score game. It's just going to really, whoever is going to get out that pool is going to be decided up to the games themselves and how it goes
Yeah.
in the day. Because it's at home, I do think Sale, they are good at home. Now, I don't watch much Premiership, but I do know they are a good team. And
Mm.
this Racing side, I'm not sure what team they're going to put out. And they haven't been playing that well recently. In the top 14, they're eighth. And yes, they had a good win last week against Harlequins. But at the same time, it's hard to base anything off some of the games last weekend, just literally in the middle of a storm. So I'm going to go with Sale by 3 points. It'll be a tight game, like every game's going to be in this pool.
Mm.
And yeah, Racing will make it through, judging off last week, but not this game.
Yeah. Fair enough. Uh, Munster taking on Cast. Well, Munster away from home. The Frenchies will obviously be a bit more tough to beat when they
Mm.
are at home, but I just see Munster finally taking that step of confidence as we spoke about. Beating the Lions. The Lions did not play a weak team against them. Very big victory over. Who did Munster beat last weekend? Stade
Munster,
Francais.
Stad.
up on
Stade
say,
Francais,
yeah,
yeah. I
13
mean,
man stuff on say.
yeah. So I'm going Munster with a pretty comfortable one. I'm going Munster by 15 points against Cast.
Mm.
I'm going to be echoing your opinions. My prediction is right down in front of me, and it says Munster by 14.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked on Monday, casual, about how this Munster team and Munster fans will like to tell you that they always start slow, and they definitely have started slow this season in the URC. But we talked about how they're finally starting to make that step in the right direction, that late season charge or later in the season charge. And they looked great against Stade Francais, even when it was 15 on 15. They looked great. Some of their returning injuries, Shane Daly, their winger, Abraham's played amazingly. He got player of the match. So they're building nicely. And if they can continue that sort of run of form, they are contenders. They'll definitely get out of the group. So yeah, I just have to back them, but I don't want to overlook Cast. It was one of the games I didn't watch last week, so I can't really comment on how they
Yeah.
were gelling with
So
the team.
all
But
that we kind of know about them, and I mean this with all the respect in the world, is that they usually just stink the place out a bit. That's basically all that
Okay,
I
well,
know
I'm
about
going
them.
to be a bit
Like,
less respectful. I think they do not belong in this tournament. They're an absolute disgrace to it. They like I
oh,
know
wow,
you
that's
two are
vicious.
relatively new to European rugby, but these guys they never play their strongest team. They always get humiliated. Every single time I see them qualify, it just annoys me because you know every single game they're going to play, they're going to get smashed. Munster, I hope they go embarrass them. I want to see them get knocked out in the group stage, cast, and I think Munster are going to win by 30 points.
Don't
But
you
yeah,
reckon they'll
Jim
play
Hamilton
their
said it
strongest
earlier.
team, seeing that they're playing at home?
I don't think they will because I don't remember a time where these guys have got a big win. They well some teams will play their B team away in France and then they'll play the A team at home. Cast just never seem to play their best team.
Mm.
They only focus on the top 14, and that's why they keep qualifying and then they just keep getting knocked out early. Just get out of here. Munster by 30.
Yeah, that is
wow,
that is
You guys are
wild.
giving these guys a lot of respect. I do not like them.
okay,
I'm just
fair enough.
thinking, like, you don't get battered by 30 points at home, right? Not in the Champions Cup. Like, that just
Not in the
feels like
Champions
a
Cup.
bit
But I hope these guys do.
okay. Um, Bulls versus okay, this is back to the Saturday one. Bulls versus Northampton. Northampton already, but if I'm not mistaken, they said they're sending their strongest team, which makes that this will be an altitude battle. Battle of the Titans, right? Bulls disrespected Saints last season by sending that C/D team. Now it's strongest versus strongest, right? So this is going to be a battle and a half because the Bulls will probably want to bounce back after their performance of last weekend. But Saints, on the other hand, they're going to be like, you disrespected us at home, so now we're going to disrespect you at your home by beating you at altitude, which will obviously be massive. Tiernan, I'm coming to you first, right? Because
Yeah,
you know them as Altitude RC, right?
you trademark that.
So,
Yeah, like I know from last season, Leinster. Well, yes, you could argue it was because of altitude. They did lose up there, and going against the Bulls at home with Leinster's beat team out, they beat the Bulls by 40 points in Dublin away from altitude, and that's just really shows how tough it is to go there and win a game. So it's big. It's a big ask for Saints. I do think they will want to beat them because obviously last season, no one likes a B team getting played against them, and especially in the European quarter final. I still don't understand that decision. Either way, you're going to get Jake White complaining about something after.
you're
But
so negative
I
about the
can't see
Bulls. Like,
Northampton getting a win here.
you can't see it.
I can't see it. I think, yes, I do think Bulls will win. Wouldn't be surprised if Northampton go down and pull up an upset.
Okay, so what's your official prediction? Are you calling the
I'm going
upset?
to go Bulls by 5, but it will be close.
Cool chat, bro. I did.
Yeah, this to me is going to be one of the games of the week.
It's gonna be.
Saints
It
are in
will.
good form, undeniably in better form than the Bulls. But as we've all said, Bulls at home is a different animal, completely different animal. It may as well be a different team. And they're bloody good at home. They're really, really good. I just think that home advantage is massive. I'm not against or for like having big home advantages. I mean, it's just the way rugby is. I'm not complaining about it, but I think the Bulls will use it to their strength, and I think they edge the game. I've got Bulls by 10, just like a late try that pushes it out from like a 3-point win to a 10-point win, something
I
like that.
love that prediction. That's usually what I do. But it's like at the end, get a consolation try or a consolation penalty at the end just to kind of secure it. I'm going Bulls by 8. So I've got them to lead by 3 points and then score the try at the end, but miss the kick and goal. So they'll win by 8.
Such as
Right? Yeah.
I wouldn't
Bulls
go
at
as far
home.
and say they're
Bulls at
good.
home, they're a tough team to beat, and they've kind of done this thing, right, where they've even performed while they were abroad. Now I know they got smacked last weekend, but even before that, their tour stats was a lot better than it was in the previous seasons. When they were at home before they went on tour, they were crazy good at home. You look at that team, that is a stacked team. I mean, there's a lot of talent. When you look at the props, you look at the hookers, you look at Cameron Hanekom, the back line, Johan Goosen is back, Caden Moody is still there, Willie Leroux. I mean, it's a stacked Bulls team. They will play their strongest team. The crowd will be up for it. They've missed their boys. They'll welcome them back. Yeah, Bulls by 8 points. That's I'm just
Mm.
feeling like the Bulls won't slip up their first game back at Loftus. That crowd will be crazy. That's what I think. Um, yeah, fair enough. Let's go on. Ulster Bordeaux. Does Ulster get within 25 points, boys? Aiden?
Yes. Skeptical, but yes. I mean, as I said on Monday, I've not seen a team be so outmatched in a high level, competition like the Champions Cup before, like Toulouse did to Ulster. Obviously, it was at home for Toulouse, and I'm banking on the fact I don't know for certain because they haven't been involved that long, but it's in Ulster. Surely home advantage means something for them. It has to.
Tiernan is
Uh,
raining there.
Uh, it's cold. Not raining, but it's
But
cold.
will it affect Bordeaux to some crazy extent?
No,
Okay, Aiden,
they're
now
they're
you
they're
can
just they're
continue
done.
speaking now that
Ulster are
you have
done.
that information as well.
so this is the way I've been sort of going back and forth a little bit. I think Bordeaux are winning, just to be clear.
Yeah.
I've got it currently by 15. But if weather plays ball and is nice or at least dry, then I see Bordeaux running away with it. Because their flair in the back line is so cool. It's awesome to watch. It's like magic trick stuff. It's exciting. BLBRA is sensational.
Peno back
Um,
as well.
Yeah, Jalibert as well. He's like the French Finn Russell to me.
Better.
But yeah, it's just all flair. And I think if the weather plays ball, it's going to be tough for Ulster. Another tough to hit the office. But currently, Bordeaux by 15.
Going small margins over there.
Not that small. It's 2
So it's
tries.
pretty small. I don't think I've ever seen a more shafted European draw. Round one, defending champions, bam, 60 points. Week two, second from top in the top 14, one of the second best French team, bam, they're gone. Like Ulster, they're done. This is going to be it's going to be ugly. So Ulster, they don't play really good. They don't play good rugby. Last week was atrocious. How
Yeah.
do you give up 40 points before halftime? How do you manage that? And when you're looking at a team like Bordeaux who thrive off messy rugby, I don't. Was it hit with? Was any penalty even gone for it? Did any penalty go for a kick a goal last week? No, it was just tries and more tries, and it's going to happen to Ulster. I think it's going to be
Aiden's
rough.
definitely switching up. He's switching his prediction after this.
Switching their
100%.
To be
prediction.
fair to Ulster, all their Irish players were on the bench for that game, and they were better in the second half. That's just a fact. They let in less points. They didn't. They scored as well in the second half and it seemed a little less like a lost cause. So if those guys get to start, maybe it makes an impact. Maybe, they're a professional rugby team. They should put up a big fight, and
Yeah.
I'm backing them not to win, but to not get pumped.
They're a professional rugby team, but they've been dealt the French back shots of doom. Like, how do you manage to get to lose in Bordeaux back to back?
Yeah. No, it's tough. It's tough. What's your official point margin then?
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Bordeaux by 25. Sorry, Ulster. Be a long week.
I've got Bordeaux by 27 points as well. I think they absolutely hammer them. To think about it, if they put 40 points past them, like what? Then they only need to get 13, something like that. That feels fair. A 40-13 scoreline, 27 points, something like that. I think they absolutely get battered, Ulster. Like I don't think Ulster's a bad team, but it's just a horrendous matchup. This Bordeaux team, they are scary good. Scary good. You look at how good Leicester Tigers were. We spoke about how good they played out of their socks. They still got hammered. Just think about that. Like I haven't seen Leicester Tigers play that well for quite a bit of time. And they still got spanked. So yeah, 27 points. Talking about Tigers, Sharks versus the Tigers. Sharks going up north. Obviously, we are judging all of this without seeing the teams, so we're not sure if the Sharks have sent their strongest team. But let's just go as if the Sharks sent their strongest team, because we'll adjust our predictions when we see the lineups. Let's go to you, Aiden. What's your thoughts on this one?
My internal battle is, can the Tigers put up the same performance they did at home this time against the Sharks? Another star-studded team. I'm gonna say yes, they can put up a good performance, but it's gonna have the same result to me. I think the Sharks are too class. Even with my disbelief in the coaching system, or our disbelief in the coaching system, I think I just think they're too quality. I don't think it'll be as big a win as it was for Bordeaux. I've currently got Sharks by 6. That may change when I see the teams. Maybe a little more. I don't think I'll go any less than 6. I'm pretty confident that the Sharks will win. But depending on the teams that come out, we'll see how big that margin is. But anywhere from 6 to 12 right now.
Yeah, it does heavily depend on what teams they both play. Because obviously Leicester last week, they had a lot of players rested. But this week, they'll probably have them back. And again, the Sharks, they're travelling. So will they have that Springboks field team that they had last week? Maybe, maybe not. So I think if Leicester... Okay, it depends what team the Sharks play. If they play their B team, Leicester are going to win because they've been quality this season. People forget that they're one of the best teams in Europe. And they have been for the last couple of decades. But yes, I don't think either of them... Well, could Leicester go beat that Springboks team, do we think? If they do bring it out. Because even last week to go to Bordeaux and stay in the game for that long, that was seriously impressive.
Let me say it like this. I reckon my prediction, Leicester Tigers by 4 points.
You're
Yeah,
gonna go Leicester to win.
I'm going Leicester Tigers
Wow.
to get the win. Yeah. Uh, just because we are on the road now, we are traveling. Well, not we, like the South African team's traveling. I'm not a Sharks fan at all. I don't mind whether they win or lose. Um, but I'm backing Leicester Tigers team because I just think the way that they play in the weather that England has at the moment, that wet, cold weather. Freddie Stewart there at the back. Who better to have at fly off than Andre Pollard? Like just slotting it out goal, putting in the pressure on the Sharks. I said the Sharks will go very, very far in this tournament. I stand by that. But I also said that they won't be too convincing in the group stages. And that's why I'm pulling the Leicester Tigers by about 4 or 5 points victory. This will be one of those penalty games. Penalty, penalty, penalty. And if Leicester Tigers play with their pack as they did against Bordeaux,
Yeah,
that'll be good.
It'd
I
be
would
I
exciting,
say
reckon,
yeah. Now that you're saying that, I think I'm gonna go to Leicester win.
oh my
Tight one,
goodness,
but
a little
let's see.
although
cheater.
I would say we talked about how Leicester was amazing in the forwards that sort of kept them in the game against Bordeaux. I think the Sharks have a better forward pack than Bordeaux does.
Yeah,
Of course, because they
yeah,
have the
because
Bok back, but I'm just saying, like,
pretty much.
I just feel with the conditions, Leicester Tigers know how to play that the conditions a bit better. They play it every day. They back at home. The Sharks, they aren't always great at on the road. John Plumtree on the road, no. It's group stages. I don't think the Sharks will even play their strongest team, to be fair.
Yeah, well that'll change that. If they're not playing the
But
strongest team, that's a different
that's a good
ball.
one. You're saying that though, is if they lose this game, they have like Ulster had, they're gonna have Toulouse and Bordeaux back to back now in January. So if they
Yeah.
don't win this game, that their survival in the competition isn't looking too good.
Mm.
So it's really it kind of is a must win for them because I don't think they're going to beat Toulouse because Toulouse are going to them and good luck beating them. Then they're
It
going to
depends.
Bordeaux.
Will Toulouse send their strongest team? Don't put
Oh yeah, yeah they
anything
will.
over this Sharks team to beat any team. Don't write them off against it. Don't write them off to lose against any team. Don't write them off to
Yeah,
not
exactly.
beat any team either. I just think Leicester Tigers, they'll be too strong. This time around. With the weather, with the way that Andre Pollard plays, I don't know. I'm not too sure. Okay. Uh, anyway, let's move on. So Tiernan, you've switched up to Leicester Tigers.
I'll see you later. I'll do my super group. But I think yeah. Now that you're saying Andrew Pollard and just the weather, I can't see the conditions being in Leicester's favour. So we'll go Leicester. We'll Leicester by 3.
Yeah. I mean, they could always be the Sharks team that played in the Challenge Cup final that will literally beat any team on this earth. They just looked
The
unstoppable.
Challenge Cup final.
Yeah.
Challenge Cup final. Hints in the name
They
there.
absolutely whacked Gloucester.
They whacked ninth in the Premiership in the 17th place playoff. Like great job. Different ball game, Champions Cup.
Okay. Leinster versus Clermont. Uh, Tiernan, this is your team. Clermont, they've
Yeah.
been very good. They've been very, very good. Are you writing
And
them off?
last week when they played Benson, they were quality.
I would just
Now, this isn't the Aviva. We are going to have the main team as we always do in Europe. I do think it will be a convincing Leinster win, especially after last week. Look what they did to the second top of the Premiership. Um, Bristol. Now, of course, Bristol did lose their fly half. The scrums were just awful. There's a lot to improve in this Leinster team. Obviously, like Geordie Barrett. How do you when there's a question whether Geordie Barrett is going to start or not? That's just how you know how
yeah.
much pressure is on this team to do well in this competition. And they've lost 3 finals in a row. It's really what they have their eyes on. And Claremont, you look where they are in the top 14. Usually, they should be putting maybe 35 points on them. I am going to say Leinster by We'll go Leinster by 20 because the French teams, Clermont, they're a physical team. They'll
Well,
do well in the
Clermont,
scrum, I think.
Clermont, I think they're fourth in the top 14. They did put up a very good performance against Benetton. I know it's just
Mhm.
Benetton, but that was a good Benetton team. It was a clinical, nice walk in the park performance, kind of
Yeah.
by Clermont. But I just feel maybe they don't send their strongest team. They'll just chill this game because they know the other games are the ones that they kind of want to beat. The other teams are the ones that they want to beat. I don't think they have these crazy expectations for this Leinster matchup. Um, Aiden. what are you going there? You think this is walk in the park for Leinster, or do you smell a little write-off upset coming down over
I,
Leinster?
as much as I'd love to, no, I don't. I don't smell. Um, Look, I thought the team to upset Leinster would have been Bristol. Bristol have been playing incredible rugby. They were amazing in the first half. But the thing that Leinster can do is just shut out a game. If it's close for 40 minutes, you gotta perform like a 90-minute performance against them if you want to win, because they've got probably the best bench in all of Champions Cup. The first 15 is debatable between them and Toulouse. I would personally lean towards Toulouse right now. But the bench undeniably is Leinster. That is ridiculous what they can bring on at the moment for the second 40. And they can do it at 40 minutes and just have two teams play. Bringing on last week against Bristol, I felt so sorry for Bristol because they brought on Caelan Doris, Andrew Porter, RG Snyman, and Geordie Barrett. Like, these are all like world class, top of their game, some of the best players in the world coming off the bench, and that's tough to compete with. So I think even if Clermont play well, I just can't see them winning the game. So I've got Leinster by 16 right now. Again, I'd have to look at teams to see how long I think Clermont could hold out for, but I've got Leinster winning this game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't look into that bench story too much, right? Because we all know that's the actual starters, right? So it's the same as when South Africa played against Scotland. Everyone was like, "Is that the best bench we've ever seen?" Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's just the starters on the
it's
bench.
literally just our starters on the bench. So RG Snyman would most likely start for Leinster. He should be starting for Leinster, in my opinion.
I think I agree. Actually, yeah,
Yeah, with the
it's
way
been
that he's
amazing.
playing, Geordie Barrett could easily start, right? Instead of, for
Mm,
instance, Robbie Henshaw. Henshaw's great. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but Geordie Barrett is obviously a
don't talk
level
about that.
above.
Actually, yeah,
Um, what's it? Caelan Doris obviously starts in that eight jersey. So now, if you're looking at the bench and you're seeing, okay, well, who was your eighth man anyway?
Conan. They want to
Conan.
play
So
him at
if you
six
see
though.
James Ryan, Conan, and uh, what's it, Robbie Henshaw on the bench, it doesn't look the same as Caelan Doris and his name
That's
on
still
them.
a fair. I wouldn't like
It's
that bench coming on against my team though.
it's
No, of
still
course it's still
yeah.
quality. It's still very
Yeah,
much quality, but it's not got that same like holy shit, we're about to get bummed factor. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah, that's true. But I still think
I know.
it's better than every other
Yeah.
team in Champions Cup. The fact that they can do that, um, and even if they did switch it around, yeah, it doesn't look as visually like, oh my god, what is this? But it's still like world class players coming on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's tough for teams to compete if they've only got sort of their first starting 15 is great, but they don't necessarily have that depth like Leinster do.
Yeah.
I can just
Well,
imagine how
if
Bristol
if
fans felt
if
watching
Claremont
him.
if Claremont
What?
rotates a bit, as I think they will, I've got Leinster at the moment by 23. I think they it's kind of the same as Bristol. Maybe Claremont stays in the game for a little bit and then Leinster just kind of run away with it at the end with the quality that they can anyway bring off the bench. That's just what I'm thinking. It's at the Aviva as well. Uh, yeah, but obviously, if Claremont puts out a full strength team, I will bring it down a bit. But just currently, how I'm feeling right now in this moment, I do respect Claremont a lot. I think they're a great team. The way that they played against Benetton, I was really impressed. But yeah, I'm going Leinster to just be too strong. And it's not going to be like that blow away 23 points, just like the same as the Bristol one, where just in the end, just run away with it. Moving on, we got Harlequins versus the Stormers. Um, as I mentioned at the start of the video, zero expectations, nothing. We've got all the injuries in the world. Apparently, one of them might be back. Salman Murat. Of everyone that I would have wanted to be back, I think we're fine in the lock department. So it wouldn't have been Salman Murat. Uh, yeah, no expectations. Fingers crossed for a bit of Sasha, but apparently he's not back. So, it is what it is. I'll just go to the neutrals. Let's go to Aiden. Harlequins versus the Stormers at the Stoop.
Yeah, I mean, Stormers not playing at home, big disadvantage, a massively injured team. Not going to hold it against them. I see Harlequins winning. I got Harlequins by 12. Nothing too much in it. I think the home field advantage and the injuries is just too much for the Stormers to overcome.
Yeah, it's going to be rough for the Stormers. That many injuries, having pretty much every single big name in your team is just so unlucky. And to have that right as the Champions Cup starts, it doesn't get more lucky than that. So I'm going to go Harlequins by 15. Put the injuries those Stormers have with the home advantage, it's going to be ugly.
Stormers are being written off. I'm backing the boys.
Oh no,
4 points. I'm backing the
4 points.
Stormers to get it done by 4 points. Sneaking over the line. Dirty, scrappy victory at the Stoop. I don't even care. Listen, fine. You can take the Superbru off me, but I'm going to back my team to get it done. I haven't seen them win in a very long time. Okay? These boys are being written off. We're saying, oh, we don't have one of our 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 choice fly-offs. Yuri Matia might come in. Matia might not even play. It might be Jean-Luc Duplessis. But then again, we don't even have an inside centre. So you don't know. I mean, all of them are injured as well. So,
He's saying the top three got to win as well. Like.
bro, listen. We've got second choice, both props, lock, all three of our. What do scrap that? Just think about the Stormers, right? I mentioned you. I won't go on a rant, okay? But listen, the Stormers. I told you we sell everyone. We don't buy anyone. Think about what world-class players the Stormers have bought. You can't think of a single one, right? You want to know who the Stormers have
He's
lost?
just coping. Just
Right?
coping.
The Stormers have lost Steven Kitsel. We bought him back, but we lost him first, right? Then we lost Eben Etzebeth, Pieter Stef Tutoy, Sia Kulisi, oh my word, now I'm eating a blank. Damien Dialende, Cheslin Colby. Add all of those guys, and that's just the top of my head, right? Add all of those guys into this current Stormers team, we'd win the Champions Cup. But we haven't bought anyone. It absolutely destroys me. It's hurting me. Yeah,
And yet you're
Stormers
saying
by
they're
4,
going
by the way. Hey?
Casual. You're
Right.
losing your mind, Casual.
Yeah, let's move on before you
Yeah.
lose your last two breaks.
Yeah. If I had to follow my head, I'd probably go Harlequins by 7 or 8. So that would be my realistic prediction. At the Stoop, if I'm not mistaken, the Harlequins are pretty solid at the Stoop. I know they got battered by Bristol this season. So that would probably be my Superbru prediction. But what I want, Stormers by 4. I don't think that's unfair. La Rochelle versus Bristol, let's move on. La Rochelle at home. Tiernan?
Yeah, should be fireworks. I think La Rochelle are obviously La Rochelle back to back final wins over Leinster, but I do think they're now much more on Bristol's level than Leinster were last week. I think it'll be a much closer game. Uh, Bristol, of course, want to get a win. They have a lot of expectations going into this tournament, and if they're aiming to go far, it's a game they really have to win.
Mm.
And La Rochelle, they played really well didn't play well against Bath last week, but to go to a place like Bath, get a win in that weather that you're not used to, it is really impressive. And I do think they're definitely one of the top teams in this tournament. But I wouldn't look past the Bristol upset win, but I'm going to say La Rochelle by 5. But a lot of expectation for Bristol, and they will keep it close to the last minute. And I think it's going to be a one-score game. La Rochelle take it at the end.
Aiden, obviously, La Rochelle was the big money maker for you last weekend in the predictions. You backing them again?
I got it bang on last week. It breaks my heart, but I'm picking La Rochelle to win. I love the way Bristol plays. I had so much respect for them in that Leinster game. I thought a lot of things went against them that, in other games would have gone their way, a bit of rub of the green. That just happens in a game of rugby, but they're so exciting, fast-paced, dynamic. Love Harry Randall playing for them. I thought was exceptional. Bill Matter at the back. But La Rochelle at home is, it's no easy task. And I don't dislike La Rochelle either. In fact, I love them for the simple fact that Ronan O'Gara speaks French to them, and that
Irish
makes
accent.
me with an Irish accent. It makes me go to sleep laughing every night just thinking about that. It's brilliant. I just think they'll be too strong at home. That their style of absolutely beating you up in the forwards and then getting wide or crash ball through the middle. It's predictable, but it's tough to beat. And I think they'll be too tough to beat. And I got La Rochelle by 8.
It matches up pretty well against this Bristol team. Like, Bristol wants to play this fast running game. Obviously, it matches up for them well to play against the a team like La Rochelle, but I think if La Rochelle keeps their head, keeps it nice and tight, it'll be so tough to beat them, especially at home. Um, I said Bristol would be like one of my dark horses, but I just don't see them winning this game. Uh, yeah, I'm going La Rochelle to get it done by 9 points. Just think it might just be a beat down at home, one of those games. Uh, yeah. Next up, Stade Francais versus Saracens. Um, Obviously the French team at home again. Uh, does Saracens send their strongest team? Do they need to? Does Stade Francais play their strongest team? What do we
I'm sure they
reckon?
want it because this is definitely a game they know they can win if they play their best team. So I
Mm,
think Stars will send their best team. And Stad, they got destroyed last season in the competition. They came last place in the pool of death. And Saris will look at this game and go, "Look, we want to get into the knockout stage. If you win 2 games, you're basically through, and they're going to want to do that. They got a massive win last week over the Bulls, and they're going to want to take that and go get second in Europe. If you take in this competition, you take the wins you can go get, and they're not going to throw away by playing these.
no, probably not. So what's your official prediction on that one?
I'm going to go Saris by 10. Yep. I
Okay.
think they played really well last week to go beat the Bulls. And Stad, I don't know if they'll play their best. Yeah, they are home, so they probably will play their best team.
Yeah.
But don't know. Just
Yeah.
gonna call it. Sorry by then.
Fair enough. I'll join you in Saracens winning this game. I've got Saracens by 19 points.
Oof.
Um, I was impressed by them with the Bulls. I think they just do more of the same. I think if Munster can do that, I think Munster and Saracens kind of give me the same vibe to some degree. And I just think Saracens are even better than Munster. So yeah, I'm going Saracens by 19 points. Just like a forward beat down once again. Aiden?
Yeah, I've got Saracens winning. I think it'll be a little closer. Just again, home factors, they're massive, especially for French clubs. They're probably the most well-supported teams in the world for club rugby.
Stormers beat
Uh,
Stade Francais away from home, by the way. Stormers don't win away from home.
yeah, okay, that might be something to consider. I've got it currently as Saracens by 6. As I said, they'll want to win this game. It makes it a whole lot easier to get through to the knockouts when you don't have to worry about winning, a do or die game at the end against a really tough team. So if I was a Saracens selector, I'd be picking my strongest team, get this win done. Stade Francais at home, they'll pick their strongest team. They need a win. So yeah, I just think Saracens will edge it by 6, maybe a little more, maybe 10, but I don't see it being a blowout.
Okay, well, do you reckon Bath blow out Benetton?
But yeah, definitely.
Well, Benetton's at home. It's not easy to win in is it Treviso?
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not easy to win there, but at the same time, Benson, they haven't been that good in the URC this season, and they were an upset qualification into this tournament last year. Obviously getting that, I think it was the seventh spot in the URC, getting into the playoffs.
mm,
And generally, when that happens, same with the Champions League and football. If an upset team gets in, it's great when they qualify, but when they're in the tournament, they don't necessarily do that well. And then we looked last week with against Claremont, who were arguably the second worst team in their pool. They got smashed. And as much as they're home, it's an absolute for it is. They're really well supported, Benson. They always fill up their stadium, but it will be tough for Bath. But at the same time, Benson, I think, are out of their depth in this competition, and I think Bath are going to win by 25 points.
yeah, fair. Aiden, do you agree?
Yeah, I think well, where in Italy is Treviso? Is it north or south?
North.
Okay, so it's more similar climate to France then I suppose. But in my mind, it leans towards drier rugby, not as wet, not as muddy. And I think that it just plays into Bart's hands. I think they're a fast running team. They like to throw the ball around. They're exciting. Um, I mean, this Benetton squad's got good players in it, some exciting players. But I just see Bath, especially after losing at home to La Rochelle, I think they'll want to bounce back. I got Bath by 20.
Yeah, I'm going a bit closer. I do know Bath's Bath is a pretty good team. Benetton not looking great, but at home, Champions Cup. I'm still going Bath by 14 points, but I think Benetton will put up a respectable performance to keep it at 14, if I could say it like that. Uh, Toulon Glasgow. This is a game to watch. This is one to
That's a
keep.
good. That is some game.
If you look at
Yeah.
the performance that Toulon put up against the Stormers, I know it's a weakened Stormers side and stuff, but it's not easy to beat the Stormers at home. Glasgow away from home, it's not the same team as Glasgow at home, obviously. Uh, Aidan, I'm coming to you. What's your initial thoughts?
This is where a team like Glasgow makes a name for itself, in my opinion. We know they're great in the USC. They're exceptional at home. Like they are almost unbeatable at home at the moment. Um, but they've got to translate that to away wins. And I'm giving them that benefit of the doubt. I think this is a team that can do it. They are so exciting. They cruised, in my mind, past Sale. Even though Sale didn't play bad, Glasgow just looked like they just knew what they were doing. Never really got out of second or third gear. And if they can, fully unlock against Toulon, who are a very good side, I think they can get it done even away from home. So I've got Glasgow by 8, but I really don't want to look past this Toulon side, especially some of the players they've got and how they're playing. Like Saron, the halfback, he was outrageously good against the Stormers. And Villiers as well, he was putting in hits and, making breaks. So it's tough, but I'm going to say Glasgow by 8.
Love
Yeah,
it.
I did back Glasgow to top this pool at the start of the season. I am going to back them to do that. Toulon, it's in their home ground. It is a fortress of European rugby, and they didn't. I don't think they won a game last season. Toulon, they got knocked out in the Bills. For Glasgow, it's a tough challenge. Of course, they're great at home. They're not very good away. But I do think they go win this game as good as Toulon were against Stormers last week. You do have to look at the situation of that Stormers team, maybe realize, yeah, it wasn't the best
Tiernan,
the
I would
Stormers
not
could have
say
been.
that Glasgow's not very good away from home. They're still good away from home.
Yeah, that's not that they're not very good, but these massive performances we see them put up are in Glasgow.
They went
And
down to South Africa and won the URC.
they did do that, actually, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, and beat the
But
team
like I
that
said, this Toulon team, they're no walkover. They kind of were last season, but there's some quality players, like you said, and they're going to be aiming to get into the knockouts. Toulon, they didn't last season, but they both have wins, and I think it'll be a one-score game. I'm going to go Glasgow by 5, getting away win. But Toulon, they're no walkover, and
I'm going
they
Glasgow
had
by
they'll
10
be
points. Glasgow
10
by 10,
points.
and might even be more. My reasoning is the fact that Toulon won against the Stormers. Obviously, it's a good feat, right? It looks great and whatever. As we mentioned, it was a knocked Stormers team, but don't look past that first half. The Stormers had Toulon on the ropes for large parts of that. And the one thing that Glasgow really is they're clinical. They will score the tries. They will open you up. And we saw that even the Stormers team that had absolutely no cohesion, no chemistry, also managed to do that, right? But we didn't get away with points. Now, obviously, credit to Toulon to that as well. But also, that was a different Stormers team gets those points. Glasgow, great form. You look at that centre combination between Tui Pilatu and Hugh Jones, George Horn, unbelievable, right? The Lucies of Glasgow, sensational. Glasgow by 10 to 12 points. I might even go higher. I really think they put up a solid performance um, this weekend. So yeah, let's go Glasgow by 12. Just taking all of that into consideration. Yeah. Final game, once again, Toulouse Exeter. Now, this game last season was an interesting one because Exeter had the game pretty close. I don't know if you remember this, Tiernan. They had the game pretty
Quarter
close
final, yeah.
within like 6 points, wasn't it? 6 to 10 points. And then all of a sudden they conceded like 35 points in
Yeah.
12 minutes or something like that. It was ridiculous.
And that's what this Toulouse team can do to you. Like, obviously, really the only team last season that gave them a good game was Leinster. They just smashed their way through Europe. And this Exeter team haven't got a win yet outside in the Premiership or Champions Cup. They got smashed last week by the Sharks.
Yeah.
They will be lucky to stay within 50 points. I'm going to go with Toulouse by 55. They should play their strongest team. They love this competition. And if they play like they did last week against Ulster, who are a much better team than Exeter, it's going to be ugly for Exeter. I'm going to go to lose by 50, and I can't see Exeter getting a try.
to lose by 50. Yeah.
50 points. Like,
Well, Exeter's at home. Don't you think that they'll put up a respectable fight for a bet?
No.
Will Toulouse
Man.
play their strongest team?
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. The French stereotype in that counterbalance competition doesn't apply to Toulouse. It's arguably what they like the most.
Okay. Aiden?
Yeah, it's gonna be ugly.
I thought I was just gonna be like, I feel disrespectful predicting scorelines like this. Like, I don't want to come into a game and say one team's just gonna get absolutely trounced. It feels so rude for all those like players and professionals that spend their life playing rugby. Just for me, some random guy on the internet to go, yeah, they're gonna get absolutely pumped by 50 points.
Yeah.
It feels horrific.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying I'm aware of how this sounds and looks for all those Exeter fans watching, all three of you.
Next season's your year, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, I've currently got Toulouse by 40. I predicted them to beat Ulster by like 25, and immediately after 5 minutes of watching the game, I realized I had not predicted enough. They were just running away with the game, and I don't want to do that again. And even with 40 on my Superbru right now, I'm not sure it's enough. So it's 40 now. Once I see the
You
team,
go above 40.
yeah, you can go as high as you want. Once I see the teams, this might change. This might go to 50, and if I want to get points, I might even put it to 60.
This is horrible. That is horrible. I've gone a
This is
bit more.
bullying.
I've gone a bit conservative. I've gone a bit conservative, to be fair. I've gone with 43 points victory. Listen.
Conservative. This is what I mean. It feels so disrespectful that you've just said winning by 43 points is a conservative bet.
Yeah. The thing is, Exeter, they look terrible at the moment. You look at Ulster. Ulster isn't that bad, right? Like, we watch the URC, Ulster's usually top 8 or whatever. They've beat Leinster twice last season. Look at what just happened to them. That was a full strength Ulster team. Well, a couple of Irish guys on the bench. This Exeter team, they got beat by a 12-man Sharks team. Just to put it in perspective, 43 points. This might be 53 points. Come the actual game, right? So yeah. Anyway, do we have anything else to add to this weekend of rugby, or should we just wrap it up? I mean, Aiden's on his last feet, so we'll probably end it there.
Yeah, we should let Aiden go to bed. Leinster are getting the 5th star. I say that every video.
Sure, buddy.
You're lucky.
Anyway, everyone, please do remember to
Well,
like and subscribe. We do appreciate you guys, and we will see you next time. Please do remember to join the prediction league, and yeah, let's have some fun. Cheers.